Okay, people. So I am here today with Nicole Hall, one of the leads of Super Happy. Wait, no, that is.
Yes,
Was I right? I
you
keep on feel like I'm fumbling because it's
you.
I don't know. It's got a weird flow to it. Super Happy Fun Cloud,
I was
and
like,
I
you just
always yeah,
you
I
were
always
super,
feel
you were happy, and then you missed out on the fun.
yeah, Super Happy Fun Clown, which is crazy as hell. Oh my gosh, this film is insanity. I'm like, I did not know where it was gonna go, and man, it is so well done. I really enjoyed the heck out of it. So
You didn't.
yeah,
Uh,
congrats on that one.
you saying that you didn't know where it was gonna go reminds me of my thought about when she does kind of Jin O, not
Yeah,
the lead. When she does kind of snap, you don't really know until what she does next. Like it's like the film doesn't spoon feed you that at all. So like I felt the
no.
same way.
Well, there is so many times when she could kind of snap.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when she does, you're like, oh shit, that's it. Right? That's the
Oh.
right, that's the straw. Okay. Right. Camel's
It
back
was
has
the spaghetti
gone.
all it was the spaghetti all along.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I would not be happy if someone threw spaghetti on me like that.
Maybe it's because it was marinara and not meat sauce. I'd be pretty upset.
I mean, anything with tomatoes in it, I'm fighting you.
See, relatable.
Oh, Nicole, how how did this come to you? How did you land this role?
I had worked previously with both Eric Winkler, who wrote the script, and Patrick Rea on I Am Lisa. Now that was my 3.5 seconds of screen time there as a server in that film, but a server that Lisa had some sort of crush on. So there was some flirtation and
Uh,
whatnot there. So just a silly little dipping my toe in the waters, and I pretty sure I knew Eric before that moment, like met him at some function. Kansas City is a small town where people meet each other constantly. It's absolutely lovely. And so then he had reached out to me about being a different role in that film. Um, but for one reason or another, I wound up playing the server, and then yeah, he just kind of reached out to me again about like, hey, I've got this thing. He had me watch the short. He approached me about the detective. And I go, hot, super. Never played a detective before. Don't think I'm that smart. Let's do it. Uh, but luckily, the cops in this film stop exactly zero crimes, so it's perfect for me.
that is true. That is true. But I think there's something important there, right? Because the first role, as you said, it was a short role. Like it wasn't a big part in that first film,
No.
but that got you this. So I think sometimes people might turn down roles because they're like, oh, it's only, a small part. It's only got a second screen time. It's only, but that small part can land you something bigger. So I think it's just about doing what you can with what's in front of you, because that's showing your worth, that's showing your ability, what you can bring to the table, and how, I guess, also it's how you were on the set, right? How
I
helpful
mean,
you were and everything.
You're putting a lot of confidence in me. Thanks. I hope I was that enjoyable and just downright lovely on set. But I think at that point I had, because I only started doing films in 2018, so I think at that point I was kind of saying yes to everything so that I could get on more sets under more
Mm,
directors and learn from them and also from the other actors. Like I was very much in a learning capacity. I mean, I'm always in a learning capacity, but at that point I was just kind of thirsty for films, but for any opportunity. And I learned a huge thing actually, specifically from Jennifer Seward, who plays the lead in this film. As I was watching her scene with Kristen, the person who plays Lisa, that's Simba. He always has to have a starring role in these interviews. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so they were doing their scene together, and I kind of interrupt them. And I learned, oh, I don't have to shout on film sets. Like they were kind of whisper talking and very real and very, very with each other on that set. And I don't think I'd seen that kind of connectivity between
yeah.
actors and this quiet investment in the other. I don't think I'd seen that yet on a film set. And it was really yummy, and I loved watching it, and I learned a lot from those two actors on that set. So I'm really glad I said yes.
Mm. That's interesting, right? Because I think sometimes you'll watch a film and it's just not very good. And you know what I mean? Like sometimes something is just bad, right?
It's just bad.
But
I love
you,
that.
but the thing is, you wonder how, right? You wonder how does it become that?
Mhm.
Because no one's getting on set to make a bad film.
Oh,
You know what I mean? No one's
yeah.
trying to deliver lines badly. So you just think, okay, so what's the environment? Right? What are people being told? What's the knowledge sharing like in that place?
Mhm.
You know? So it's kind of like, how much are you being told as an actor on what is needed? You know? So I think that is interesting that you you weren't sure about the talking loud, right? But you saw other actors and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a good way to deliver, right? I don't have, because you do see that at times when people are talking and it feels a bit like they're doing a play,
Yes.
because it's
Yeah.
always, hello, Nicole, I am here to talk to you.
I
Splendid.
would, what's wrong with that? I would cast you immediately, Kevin.
Well,
That
I
was
was
amazing.
auditioning. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. You're just hilarious. Oh, you did your laugh. You know how excited I was to hear you do your real laugh. Yay.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. Okay.
No one ever intends to get on a film set and do badly. And honestly, if anybody even does mildly well, I mean, you had, you know, 17 other things go right and 17 other people doing their job well, so that the
Mm,
actor even has a chance at that point, because it's very much a director's and editor's medium, and not an actor's medium like a play at all. So yeah, we do the best we can a lot of times, and especially in an indie format, the training levels are so varied
mm.
among the actors, and so you never know what you're gonna get. Box of chocolates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it must be an interesting experience going from set to set because of that knowledge gap that might be there. Because it might be the director's first film or just their second. So they haven't found their style yet, right? They haven't found their rhythm on how they like to interact with not just the actors, but the rest of the crew, right?
Mhm.
How they actually want to tell a story. So it's just, if you then find yourself in that environment, it must be a little bit awkward, because it's just like, you don't want to overstep and be like, well, actually, I think we probably should do it like this, because it's their thing. So it's just a tightrope all the time, as it were.
Everybody's really afraid of overstepping their bounds, and in some cases, and I can certainly understand, rightfully so, because the roles are really defined, and for good reason. A lot of times, like, you don't want just anybody touching the lights or anybody touching the camera. But I do
Yeah.
think that there is at least where I am, a lack of maybe community understanding. I don't even want to say training, but like community understanding of what it is to be a director, and to know what you can say, how you should say it, to whom, at what time.
Mm.
All of that is the tightrope thing is really quite appropriate. But the directors around here are maybe a little nervous, a little too nervous for my taste, because I did come from a theater background where it's all collaboration all the time, people
Yeah.
talking about ideas, and you're never, I mean, sometimes, but you're pretty much never, at least as far as the director and actor relationship, stepping out of bounds with each other. It's a complete, we're creating this together.
Mm.
But on film, I was really shocked. My first film, like, I got on there and I was like, aren't you gonna tell me what you want? Or no, I can just do whatever, I guess. So
Oh.
I felt like, they say in Game of Thrones, like, that one of the Unsullied is like, they just throw you in the water, and if you drown, good. If you don't, good. It kind of felt like that. It was a
Mm.
sink or swim kind of situation. I was like, I don't know if the directors know that they can talk to me and give me direction, but
Yeah, that's it. Because I feel that might be just like a first time thing, maybe. Because I know I've spoken to a lot of indie directors, and a lot of the people I speak to say that, they believe in that interaction with their actors, right? So they like to have a conversation about what they're looking for. And so then, it's okay to add something when needed, kind of thing, right? So there'll be certain scenes that they're like, no, this is very defined, this is needed for this, but this scene, just give it what you think is best, kind of thing, right?
yeah.
So I think sometimes it's the person in the role that just isn't comfortable yet.
Oh, way to turn it back on to me. How rude.
No. I'd say the director. Like, the
You're right. It's
director's not
me. I'm the problem.
comfortable to talk to you, and I think that's an issue, because I think you need to, because they're steering the ship, as it were,
Yeah.
so if they don't, what I mean, command, then no one really knows what they're doing.
I remember asking the director on that first set, like, "Hey, do you want anything different, or do you want me to try anything, or whatever?" And he was like, "If I wasn't getting what I wanted, I would say something, you know." And that was the first time I'd ever heard that. Like, no news is good news on any
Mm.
kind of acting scenario. But so anyway, it's been an aggressive learning experience. I have, like, literally, like, pages and pages of notes on my phone from the various lessons I learn on each set to kind of remind myself.
Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. Right. For you, what has been, other than the, delivery, like, what has probably been the biggest takeaway from a set for you?
um, Shut up. I don't know. Is that not that that would come off like everybody on the set is mean and doesn't want anybody to talk or whatever, but like this isn't like your average rehearsal and for a play where it's like 3 or 4 hours or whatever. This is potentially 10 to 12 hours, and people get really, really tired of each other, even if they love each other.
Yeah.
And just like, this isn't the time. Shut up. Stop talking. And also I feel kind of bad for not bad, but I have this awareness of like all of this work carrying heavy things and setting up specific shots and using their brain all day long, all of the crew members and the director and whatnot, just to hear you say lines over and over and over, like to hear you talk over and over and over again. And I imagine at a certain point they just like don't want to hear your fucking voice anymore. Stop talking. That I know that's I have never come across, I'm like scouring my memories. I've never come across like a rude director or crew or anything. They're all just such lovely people, like in the area that I work in anyway. And so I know, or at least I sense that that's not really how they feel. I hope if that's how they feel, I never really find out. But I just like, for extra sensitivity reasons, I'm just like, just shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, like I work in communications and marketing and like, you know, putting on events and things like that. And
what a hard job.
Well, no, I mean, it's very dependent on the team, right? It's dependent on the team you're working with and the organization you're working for, right? Because sometimes it's like, look, this is what we want. Just do whatever you need to do to get us there. And then some are like, this is what we want. Do whatever you need to get us there. But we don't usually do things like that. And we kind of prefer doing things like this. And we don't really like to use that platform. And if we could probably do this, and then there's all these restrictions, and you're just like, I mean, what am I doing? Kind of thing, you know? So it can be very, it can be great. It can be weird. But I think when you're, you know, because there's times like we did this event in Vancouver, and it was long days, right? Like it was getting up at, you know, 4:30 to get to the, you know, conference center for about 6, and then we're leaving around about 8, and so it's just long days, you know, trying to get everything done. But it was a lot of fun because the team, everyone just worked together and pulled together to get things done. But then I did these other events in the UK that were a nightmare because you had people just not doing the shit they were meant to be doing.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And you didn't fight, and you'd say to them, like, did you send the reasonable adjustments to the hotel? And they're like, yes. And then you'd speak to the hotel and be like, have you got all the, you know, the different adjustments we need to make for the meals and the other stuff? And they're like, no. All right, what do you mean no? Like, we sent it the other week. And they're like, nope, didn't get it. And then you'd find out that the person lied and they didn't send anything. So it's just like, you know what I mean? When you're dealing with people like that, it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes, like, it's, you want to tell people to shut up, right? You want to tell people to, because it's just not helpful, right? There's a lot of noise, but it's not helpful noise. It's just irritation, you know?
Yeah. And there are, I mean, film is kind of just problem solving over and over and over and over and over again for 11 hours. And you don't need a bunch of, like you said, noise in your ears while you're trying to solve problems. And actors, you know, out here actively creating problems with
Well, yes, that's a pay. But then when people bring something interesting to you, then that's like awesome, great. That's a good point. You know what I mean? Bring that to me.
Mhm.
So it's just, again, it's that tightrope, right? It's that finding that balance. But I think it's only you have to learn what it is that you could bring to the table.
Yeah. I recently went to a workshop for production assistants because more and more films are coming from outside the city into the city because of the tax incentive
Mm,
the Missouri's had for a couple of years now. But they were like, we want all the people who are going to be PAs on these sets to have like a certain level of professionalism and awareness and knowledge of what's going on and what they should be doing and whatnot. And they had this, I wish I could, I don't have last names in front of me, or I would say the people who hosted the workshop, who were two absolutely lovely women, and I feel like such a shit because I don't have their names ready. But they had this phrase, "make the day," which means, I mean, everybody knows that phrase, which just means like you got all the shots done in a timely manner and everything kind of went as planned or whatever. But it was also used as far as you could either make the day or you can be a part of the day. And
mm.
um, making the day is making active, proactive, intentional choices in order to help the train move down the tracks. Whereas being a part of the day is just kind of being there and it's everything's happening around you. And I loved that that thought, that notion.
Yeah. I think that's something that carries through in life, really. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You can be in a relationship, or you can be part of a relationship.
Oh, Kevin.
You know?
Okay. Okay. I feel that. Yeah. Refill the soap once in a while. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. No, I think they're valuable things that I think just strengthen a set, right? It strengthens your ability to be able to perform and deliver, the performances, the type of performances we saw in Super Happy Sad Clown.
Super happy, fun clown. She's fun.
Oh, well,
She's not sad at
I
all.
mean,
No therapy needed here,
I
friend.
mean, there are times.
I was just about to say how incredibly efficient that set was. It was one of the most efficient sets I've been on. And you, as an actor, that makes you really have to be ready to go because you don't
Mm,
have a ton of time to just sit around and wait or prep for a scene or whatever. You just got to go because they were quick. They were quick
mm.
and they were good.
Yeah, like when you learn, right, that you're gonna be playing this role, right, that you're gonna be Detective Marshall. How did that feel, right? That you've got this juicy role now, right? You're getting a lot of screen time. What was the fall?
What was the what?
What was the fall? Like, how did you think? You know what I mean? Going
Mhm.
from shorter roles to now you've got this weightier thing that you're gonna be doing. Like, was
Uh,
there any anxiety? Was there just, yes, I've got it, relief? Like, how are you feeling?
Babe, 100% anxiety. That's what you know, it was horrifying. And I can't remember if I had been a part of one or two features before that, but never. I mean, there was one feature I did where I was the lead, and yeah, a lot of screen time, that character arc, all of that work going in. Um, this one was less than that, or yeah, less than that, and also less than the incredible work that Jennifer Seward did. Um, but still, yes, kind of just present. When I watch the film, I'm kind of like, I forget that the cops are chasing her down. Um, what I will say was I was very excited to film it. I was very excited to do it. I loved the character that Eric had written. I loved that that we had discussed several things to add. Like he let me contribute lines about my father, which was not a present character in the film. Before we talked about it, I was like, I would like this thrown in. Can we do that? And he was like, absolutely, yes, that's a great idea. And then the stuff at the end where I give her the key to her handcuffs and kind of goad her out was something that I brought to Jen, and she liked it, and something that I was hoping Patrick would say yes when we showed up on set the next day. And I was like, can I please do this? I know that's adding shots, but can we please? And so the amount of collaboration that was not just allowed, but that they got excited about and played with us, played along with, was really, really nice. That being said, I had just come off a really, really hard short film that I had done that felt like it took every ounce of energy I had out of me. And so I was horrified, mostly because I was exhausted when I started filming it. And it was the first film I'd ever done where there were extended scenes, that there were scenes throughout the movie where, and they were all shot out of order. So having to track, it's something that actors know. You're going to be shooting stuff out of order. So go back to your notes, figure out where you are in your character arc. Da, da, da. I mean, simple shit, right? But it's so easy to be stressed out and anxious and forget some of that work. So I learned some real practical lessons on this film, outside of the theoretical stuff that I knew, and now having to do it and film this character arc so separated and so out of order. That's kind of how I feel. I don't know. I don't even remember what your question was, but that's kind of all the thoughts that I had, where I was like, how am I going to do it? And also I'm very, very excited to do it because of the level of collaboration. And yeah.
No, that answered it. You were.
And it totally helped when I showed up to film what would be my first interaction with Jennifer Seward. It helped that when I showed up to that day, that she was just so incredibly, I mean, she's got almost 20 years, I think, of experience in working in film. And, I started in 2018, and she was so welcoming and so nice. And I was like, you don't have to be this nice to me, but it put me totally at ease, and yeah, it was great. So I love that aspect as well.
But I think that's it though, isn't it? Right? If she was mean, then you wouldn't be able to get the same performance out of you, because you'd be nervous and, on edge, right? But you just, it's like that whole thing, right? Treat others like you'd like to be treated, something like that. Anyway,
there's some people that are like, oh, I want these two actors for these two roles that hate each other or will eventually hate each other, because that energy will be brought to the screen. And it's like, it really is freaking hard to work with someone that you don't like, or that you can tell doesn't like you. Yeah. I mean, maybe me pulling that trigger might have happened a little bit more gleefully had she been a nasty to me, which would have been fun. But I don't know. I don't know why people think, yes, let me cast these two people who have this dislike for each other. It's like the whole nature of art is that you're, especially nowadays, it's so important to feel that safety with the people you're working with. And yeah, if anybody had been nasty on that set, I don't know how that would have gone. I guess we still would have made it, because we're troopers.
Yeah. But I mean, you can act like you don't like someone, right? That's the whole thing. You don't have to get people that actually hate each other. You just get good actors who can, act like they hate this person they're chasing down, right? That's what.
Oh, right. And I mean, the whole with the script analysis and all that stuff, I mean, you're playing objectives and goals and tactics and whatnot, and you're hardly ever acting like you don't like someone. That's really hard to act. What's easier to act is like a specific trying to do something to them, I guess. If I were to phrase it away.
Yeah. Indeed. Yes. It's
Have you ever I'm sitting here curious for like the last 10 minutes whether or not you've acted before. I don't know any of that history for you.
no, just some school plays back in the day, right? But it was always a bit because I've got bad eyesight, so it's seeing scripts, and I went to some auditions, but lines are on teleprompters and I couldn't see anything, and it was just, so I'd never bothered going down that road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was one day on Super Happy Fun Clown where I couldn't hear anything. So that was exciting. Maybe you've missed your opportunity to like just be terrified that you can't see the people you're acting with. I don't know.
Yeah. What happened with the hearing?
I had an ear infection. I had just mentioned earlier to you that when people talk about allergies, I can't relate. I don't know what that's like, except for this one day where I had an ear infection. It had been getting worse, but like I do what most people in America do because so many of us don't have health insurance. When I start to get sick, I just kind of expect that it'll go away if I get enough sleep and water. And most of the time that works, but this was not working. And I eventually had a kind of ringing in my ears that was harmonizing with my voice. Like if I was talking like this, or whatever, like it just had that noise in there. And then it started to do it whenever I would breathe. And I was like, this is fine. It's kind of entertaining. It's kind of funny. This will be fine. I'll show up to set like this. But we filmed in a basement. And somehow the acoustics in that room made my whole body and my mind go woo, 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 like over and over and over again. Like I could barely even tell what Patrick was saying to me and what I was supposed to be like, kind of reaching my wits end in my frustration or whatever, which I don't know, maybe that plays, but like I was highly frustrated that day. Little did I know that Claritin healed me up in less than 24 hours. I just had no idea that there was such a medication that could just clear up an ear infection. I spent $100 on the Minute Clinic, $25 on a prescription that I wound up not using because the Claritin was so effective. But it was like another $20. So like I spent so much money to find out that Claritin exists.
Oh man, that's gonna suck a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm glad I something happened to me that you could giggle at. It was all worth it.
Yes, indeed. But not being able to hear that, oh my god, that must have been so frustrating. What scenes were those?
That was we weren't in the basement. It was after she kills her coworker. And I show up to that house after the devil lady in the red dress finds them in the bedroom.
Right.
I show up there and I'm like, she's vomiting. The person who found the body is vomiting.
Yeah.
There's clown, da 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 da. That I could hear my head harmonizing with myself during those scenes. And then when we were in the basement interviewing people, and I go, let's try to track her on. She might be on foot for all we fucking know, I think is the line. That was when I couldn't hear a thing. So if you want to rewatch it with that awareness, I don't know.
I mean, it didn't show. So yeah,
Nice.
no, it played nicely. So you're in the clear.
Gruel. Thanks, Kevin.
Oh, that was a crazy scene with the co-worker.
You know what? I that's what Jin would talk about, uh that being the most heartbreaking thing. We had discussed a little bit about the film, and she said that that was definitely the most tragic death from her eyes.
Mm.
And it's also the most annoying death to some audience people that I've spoken to about it. Like, it's just kind of like, man, you like had a chance. And I 100% agree, because it's like those people who have significant people in their lives let them down, disappear, whatever. And
Yeah.
then that one person who's willing to like show up and do the work and is there for you, and you lack, I mean, we're talking about Jennifer kind of lacking this awareness of how to be grateful for that and not just recognize. It almost feels like that character is freaking entitled to the attention that he's giving her, and then takes advantage of it instead of being grateful that you have a friend and somebody who's interested in you as a person. That's
Mm.
frustrating.
I mean, it was. I kind of figured, right? Because it's one of those situations where you can see how this person became what she became. Right now, obviously, we make choices, right? You can decide
Yes.
I'm going to become a piece of shit, or I'm not going down that road. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more than the parts I was made from. You know what I mean? So you have that choice, but you could see the way her mum treated her, the way
Yeah.
her sister treated her.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't great, right? So you can see how she got there. And then I think it's just like the husband being a just, I don't even know why the fuck they were still together after what
That's
you find out about him. That,
why.
but I guess
What,
it's
hot dog Harry sitting there, you're just gonna deal with that every night? Are you kidding me? What is wrong? See, this is why I think that like she didn't choose a bad path over a productive one. It seems like she's totally unaware of all the productive paths. Like
well,
she's
no, I think it's got to that point where she thinks that's all she deserves.
is to be able to take it out on others.
No. So she
Oh, the husband is how she.
deserves the shitty husband, right? She deserves the shitty job. She deserves, like, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't any positive
Mhm.
affirmations. So it's just like, this is all, my life is going to be.
And
So
if
then but she's like, I want to be famous. And because she's enthralled by the serial killers,
Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy, that's it, yes.
Mhm.
Which that always baffles me. Like, the women that fall for the serial, that I do not get that at
No,
all. But
me
she was,
can't relate.
yeah, she was enthralled by them. So it kind of is like that's her path to greatness.
Mhm.
And she kind of marked Halloween. So it was kind of like, well, I'm gonna be dead by
Yeah.
Halloween. So I'm just gonna go out like that. So it was because when you see her with her co-worker, you can tell that there is that connection, that she really digs him. And then there's that
Or she's
residue.
faking it. Or she's
No,
performing like sociopaths do.
no. Because when you look at the face, right, I feel that she does really like him. And so there was that sadness that she did the thing that she did.
Mhm.
Right? Because at the end, she bends over and kisses him, right? And like, she wishes she could be with him, but she's like, but this is the path I've set myself out on.
Mhm.
So this is it. I'm like, I'm not going to be around by the end of the day. So I'm going out. This is how I'm going out. And you will be attached to me in this
Oh,
way.
you viewed this as a suicide tour.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's not my read on it, but that's very interesting. I want to watch it
Okay.
again like it's a suicide. And I don't know anything more about it than you do. I was not a part of those discussions, so yeah, it's anybody's guess at this point. But you've seen and reviewed way more films than I have, sir. So I'll just trust your instinct on that.
Hey,
It is
I
funny
might be wrong. I might be completely wrong.
that you brought up the I deserve the shitty husband, the shitty job, because I do think that this movie approaches a lot of kind of sociological topics like that, where you let your circumstances become your identity. And
Yes.
then I would question in my head, like, why doesn't she just do this to solve the problem? Why doesn't she just do this? Right? Because that's kind of how I think about things.
Mm,
But when you're so entrenched in your circumstances and that it becomes your identity, it's removing yourself from said circumstances kind of makes you question who you are. And if something's maybe not quite right up there, discovering who you are is a horrifying prospect. So,
yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean,
the success, I want to be rich and famous, and she spent her whole life having success defined for her, which is
yeah.
another thing that I think that we as a society, like, that's poison for all of us, not defining what success looks like for us before we start down the path of what we want,
Mm.
you know.
Well, I mean, just look at how, like, when people talk about companies, right? How success is measured. Because do you remember the first Incredible Hulk film Marvel did?
I've never seen it. I've never seen
Well, people, that's the end of our conversation. I'm glad
Nice
you
to
could
see you.
be
Nice to meet
here.
you. Bye.
Yeah, do not watch the film. It's rubbish. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
But
dear.
honestly, of all the films to get a defensive over, I don't think Hulk is the one, is it? Like, wouldn't it
No,
have to
no.
be
The
like the
first film
Iron
is
film with Iron
rubbish.
Man?
No, the first Incredible Hulk film is not a great film. But the thing is, right? It was always talked about like it was a flop. It wasn't a flop, right? It doubled, like they doubled the box office, doubled how much it cost to make, if not even more than that. But it didn't make Spider-Man X-Men money. So they said it's a flop.
Mhm.
And I think that's the big thing, right? We
Yeah.
look at success in this weird way.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like, oh, because that didn't make Spider-Man X-Men money, it wasn't successful. But you've doubled how much you put into it. So it was a success.
Yeah.
So why are we trying to pretend that it wasn't? And I think that's the big thing. There's a lot of times people look at things and they'll be like, well, that didn't work out. And it'd be like, no, that was like I put on, like, back in the day, right? I put on this club night, and I had a lot of rappers and DJs, and it was just this thing, right? And it was the first thing that I ever put on, right? I was 16, 17, something
Oh,
like that.
wow.
It was
That's really young too. I mean, well, not where you live, I guess. You're old enough to do all things. But that's really young to have as enough, like, get up and go to plan
Yeah,
something like
no,
this.
no. I think I was 17. Yes, I was 17 because
Still don't.
I worked Yeah, I was working in as an accountant. Um, and but the thing being, right, I was just like, well, the venue holds this amount of people, so it's a success if it's rammed, if it's full to the rafters, if you know what I mean. Selling all of this and the bar and blah 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 blah. Blah.
Mhm.
It was not rammed at all,
Oh.
right? It was
Mhm.
not rammed. But I was stressing. I found out like some of the people that were meant to be helping me hadn't been doing anything, right? So you know what I mean? So I've got all of this going on, and I'm just like, fuck, fuck, fuck. This is a failure. This is a failure. Fuck. And one of the DJs got lost.
Like
So
17-year-old Kevin, just like, fuck.
yeah. Like one of the DJs got lost. So he was gonna miss his set, right? And I'm just like, shit, what am I gonna do? Right? What am I
Mhm.
gonna do? And so I spoke to this other one of the other DJs. I'm like, yo, Dave's gonna be late, man. Are you cool to stick around? He's just like, man, I'm having a blast. Yeah, I'll stay. Right.
Mhm.
And then I realized everyone is having a lot of fun.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, where I'm just like, my parameters for success were this. I had to re-look at things and understand that no, this was a successful night, right? Because
And
everyone had a great time.
did that only happen after you left that event? Because then it's like you realize, man, I wasted an entire night stressing and judging myself instead of just having fun. Like if everybody else is having fun and you're not because of this box you've put around what success is, like what a
Mm.
tragedy. You've wasted a night. Or maybe you realized before it was over, you've wasted half a night still, so like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like it was before it had ended. But the beginning of the night
Mhm.
was a complete just because I was so,
Totally.
yo, where's Dave? He's not here. Like it's not full yet. Like this has happened, that has happened. And so I was like just stressed at the beginning. But then I
Well, maybe
realized
you just couldn't, maybe it was full and you just couldn't see everybody. Is that are you gonna
Okay,
send me
people,
like
you heard that. Flip
are you
it.
gonna send me
We're
Anthrax's mail
canceling
because
Nicole
I
Hall. Okay, we're canceling her. Right? She's done. She is
I'm
done.
I couldn't. I was sitting there for like 7 whole seconds. Like, should I make this joke?
Of course, you make the joke.
I
It's
was just
funny.
I was just a part of a play where everything that could have gone wrong. I mean, Murphy's law. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. But I viewed it as just wildly successful
Mm,
because the team was having so much fun and trusting each other and we all felt safe and it was wonderful and we created something interesting and provocative and yeah, I was happy that I had a reasonable view of success in that experience because I could have walked away very, very unhappy by all the various things that went wrong, but I didn't. So, yeah.
yeah. No, I think also like sometimes you look at things and go, well, was I still able to do this, and this? Right? What have I learned from that experience? I've learned that I can pivot. I can deal with stress. I can deal with pressure. I can deal with. So
Mm,
that means it wasn't a failure because you've got all of these great takeaways now from those situations. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So it's just understanding what's valuable, right? From these interactions, from the things that we do to realize what success actually is. I think that's the big thing that we don't always consider. you know?
Yeah. And that's, you know, poor Jen had to kill however many people because she didn't know how to define success for herself. And just objectively, by the way, it's not like she was doing super well, you know,
No.
like what she says, she makes like just under $900 every paycheck, assuming she gets like 24 paychecks a year or whatever. That's 23,000. I think I did the math at one point. And it's like an average office job in Missouri is like way higher than that, like over $10,000 higher than that. And it's like, girl, how did nobody teach? First of all, the life skill of being able to negotiate your pay, right? That's
Well, yes.
right.
That,
Not
that
to
that's a big one, right? Because
yeah,
sometimes people go, well, they should be paying me this. I'm like, well, did you ask for that?
right.
Because they're not just gonna give you more money, right? You've got to go, I think I'm worth this. And then if they don't give it to you, you can leave,
But they
right?
like they never don't give it to you almost. If
Mm,
you're like in any even moderately conversational, nice relationship with your employer or your boss or whatever, they expect you to negotiate. They're under offering you because they expect you to give them a higher number so that you guys can settle in the middle somewhere like that. If you own a business, I think that you know that. It's just that we're not teaching people how to engage in that process, you know?
yeah.
So
Well, I mean, it kind of like the first office job I got, the money was horrendous, right? But I'm like, it's my first office job. I have no experience whatsoever, right?
uh-huh.
So obviously, I'm not going to be paid a crazy amount of money. So I sat down, I'm like, yo, what about? And they're like, okay, once you pass your probation, you know what I mean? We'll up the money. So I'm like,
Yeah.
golden, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So after the probation, I'm waiting to be called in, and I've not. So I go to my boss. I'm like, "Yo, you know, it's been this amount of time. I think we're meant to have a conversation." He's like, "You know what? You're right. Yeah, let's talk." So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and I'm just like, "Yo, so I feel I deserve a pay raise, man." And he's just like, "You know what? Yep." And he's like, "All right, let me think." So he had a thought. Then he called me back in. I think he's like, "I think you're going to be happy with this," and passed me across. Is essentially £50 more. That's what they actually went and offered. And I was just like,
Wait, wait,
that's
wait.
ridiculous.
He passed 50 pounds like
No,
in
no, no.
money.
So
Oh,
like a contract with the new wage on it,
oh, okay.
and it was just £50 more. And so I was just like, you
Did you
really?
make that face?
but like, but yeah, that's what they wanted. But I was just like, all right, come. And went and got another job. You know what I mean? But it's just like
Yeah,
you can if they're not going to give it to you, you can still improve your situation. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
But it's just like for Jennifer, obviously, right? It doesn't mean she's going to be this millionaire or anything like that, but she could have been in a better situation, right? She's being a clown in the park. She could have done parties, right? She could have done, you know what I mean, like
hmm,
shopping center. Like there's other things she could have done, but she didn't really have the gumption to go for those other opportunities. So sometimes it's like understanding the level that you can get to, but going, all right, but there's still room to maneuver here. I could try for this, I could try for that, I could move to another organization. But she was happy, well, not happy, but she didn't have the gumption
yeah.
to push for more in life.
Kevin, I feel like you're victim blaming here. Jen O is a victim in this situation. There's still rehabilitation is still an option on her table. Absolutely, she can recover from this.
Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing,
as can Detective Marshall. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
no, but the crazy thing is, there would be people going, you can still rehabilitate her. You shouldn't send her to the chair. There would be still people saying that shit, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, something wasn't right even before. But it's hard to. I mean, I didn't do the character work on that character, so. But that's my view. Watching it, something was wrong before that.
Oh man, but yeah, but what Jennifer did with that role, because that scene with the ex was just great. Like she just really, and then the maniacal shift after the snap
Yeah.
was crazy. You're just like, what is happening here? So she did a really, really good job with that character.
Agreed. That's one of the lovely things I think about clowning, and I know some real clowns who perform as clowns, and I know that they typically are kind of exhausted with the horror representation of clowns. Like they really, not all of them want to be horrifying, but the single emotion nature of a clown, like they only experience one emotion at a time, which is kind of funny. It lends itself to humor, but it also kind of lends itself to psychopathy or psychopathy, however you pronounce that word. There is something really disconcerting about the way that because I talked with a clown when I played a killer clown myself some years ago. Talked with an actual clown about it, and that's how he described it to us. So, yeah. So that maniacal shift that's there is kind of already baked in. I feel to the way that a clown thinks. It's, or you don't know whether or not you're friend or foe until you're dead or having sex with them. You don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the bloody Harley Quinn clown in the house.
Oh yeah.
She didn't have a lot to say afterwards.
Did you like the Margot Robbie representation of they come to rescue her, and she sees that they've come or whatever, and to rescue her, and she's like, "You guys came for me," and she's just like overcome with this like really sweet emotional, yeah, just feeling. And I was just like, that's so perfect for a clown though, because like she just went on a murderous killing spree, and then now she's crying because her friends are so sweet. Like that's perfect to a T. Yeah.
Oh man, it was yeah. I just thought the weird shifts in the cinema were chilling. Like the Frankenstein, and you just had as I say, the clown at the end, just all of those different things, and in all of those scenarios you were just like, is she stopping? Oh no, she's not. No, she's not.
Oh, you thought she was going to be like turned away from the killing spree at a certain point.
You wondered, is this going to have her stop, right? Because there were people that it seemed like she might emphasize with, and then she didn't.
Yeah. Well, that one kind of Harley Quinn-esque person that she comes across is kind of the narcissist moment of, she's seeing herself. And I only know this because the writer told me, kind of this mirror falling in love with oneself, or at least what you are currently viewing yourself as moment. It feels, yeah. Now, I mean, after he said that, I was like, so she's masturbating during that moment? Is she masturbating? Because is that what that is? It's like the mom moment, definitely necrophilia. Yes,
Yo,
yes, yes.
yo. Like I was thinking of that Margaret Atwood book, and I couldn't quite remember what it was called. But the
I
one
only
about
I only know of the one, the Handmaid's Tale, right? But
yeah, no, she had this. Hold on, let me have a Margaret Atwood. Yeah, trying to think of what the name of this stupid book was, but it was kind of about but it was that phrase where you're kind of like I forget what the phrase is, but it's kind of like you loving and wanting to kill your parents or something like that. But yeah, that's what with the blood and everything. But
oh,
I did think, right, because it was kind of like that at the beginning when she's little, and you know, in the way her mum and sister react to it,
mm-hmm.
it was kind of like full circle in a way, right? So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck you, mum, literally.
Do you, do you believe do you think that the sisters crying is like real, or like crocodile tears, or that scene where she finds out her mom's dead?
I think it's, that kind of situation where people don't like someone, right? But then you hear that they might have died or had an accident, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe Frank's, dead. But it's just like, you don't like Frank. You don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, but you don't say that,
No, but
but
it's
you
like
think it.
performative. Like
Yeah,
in the moment, you don't want to act like you're a piece of shit.
right.
You know what I mean? And it's like everyone feels that in those moments you have to be, oh my God. It's like when someone dies, right? It's always they were the nicest person. Everyone liked them. And you'd be like,
Mhm.
I doubt that.
I doubt it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just want to,
They lit up a room. I don't, maybe once or twice, but
yeah, because they were a pyrotechnic. That's how. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just want to see an honest obituary where it's just like, Steve was a bit of a shit, right? He cheated on his wife. He stole from his best friend.
Oh
But does
man.
anyone deserve to die like that? No, not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just an honest obituary, maybe. But I think it was performative in a way,
Mm.
you
Well, I
know?
hope you know, she was kind of a bitch. Is what awaits Jin in a future installment after she dies. Like, I didn't like her.
Yeah.
Zero
No.
sense of humor. Took everything way too seriously. Like,
Oof.
what if the mom was just kidding? What if she's just joking? What, you know?
Uh,
What?
like, it's kind of crazy. There's the one person that was kind of nice to her was her teacher.
Was the what?
The
I'm sorry.
teacher, you know?
Oh yeah.
But the teacher was like, "Oh, your creepy pictures are really good."
Who, by the way, that the teacher is played by a lovely woman named Tiffany, and she's just the sweetest. It was the perfect casting, because it was like no matter what Jin drew on that piece of paper, it was just gonna be like kids, you know, kids are weird. I
Yeah.
still love you. Energy, Um, but to be honest, like even in that scene when they're teasing her, it's not like the teacher like steps in a hardcore way. She just kind of gives a nasty look and doesn't do anything. I mean, like the kid can't feel that defense, just because the she gets a little close up where she makes a nasty face does not mean that Jen got the defense she deserved that day.
No, no.
I mean, if I'm going to be rude about it, it's,
Oh yeah, no. It was, things could have been handled better across the board when it came to Jen as a kid,
yeah.
and maybe you would have got a more balanced Jen as an adult, but
Yeah.
whew.
We just did the audio commentary for the film, and I said that the response to her getting her period was actually not that different than what I got. I mean, it my mom wasn't like a nasty. I don't even think my mom knew, but like between the people that I asked, I don't think I got that helpful of a response. And then it's effectively just had to go to the bathroom and just learn how to just read the thing and just figure it out on my own. Whatever. I don't know how a majority of the circumstances go, but I was like, honestly, kid, you'll deal with it. This can't be that traumatic for you. If you know how to read, you'll be fine. Yeah. You're gonna have to be, aren't you?
I
But
was
it's one of those things where you start saying something and you're like, this is probably very traumatic, and I have clocked it as funny in my
but I was kind of wondering, what's the ideal response, right? What does a little girl want because you watch those films and TV shows where they get a party and it's just like, let's bake a cake, it's your moon day, and you're just like, well, that seems a bit weird, right? Having a cake, and are you gonna name it? And it's just like, what's happening right now? Like, what is this weirdness? You know what I mean? Like, that feels too much. So
I missed something, Kevin. I didn't see whatever TV show you're talking about. What are you? Well, you're talking about a cake and naming something. I hope.
yeah, no, there was one thing, I forget what the hell it was. It might have been a film, it might have been a TV show, I forget. But I remember they were like, it's your moon day, and they baked a cake, and
Oh,
they're like, oh, I've named it. It's Fred or something like that. And
wait a
it was
minute.
just like,
Named the cake or named
no, yeah, they
Kevin?
named the flow.
This interview is public. You can't just talk about naming things. That's crazy. I don't know. You know what? I won't even say that's crazy. That's a cultural difference for sure than what I'm used to or what I've ever heard before. I would think an appropriate response would be, here are pads. When and if you feel like you're wearing an outfit or in a situation where a pad will no longer suffice, at that point we can talk about tampons. And then that's the practical thing. That's how to deal with the most urgent problem, which
Mm,
is obvious. Don't have to say it, but
yeah.
but then you can talk about like what's happening inside. I mean, like the amount of women who don't understand what's happening even in their own body is shocking and appalling. So obviously explain that.
Mm. But
It's not that complicated really. Because I was able to figure it out with little to no instruction from a person. Can't be that hard. I don't know.
maybe you're a prodigy.
And this is kind of how you can tell that. I mean, in a completely neutral way, how the script was written by a man, because if that's introduced as this super traumatic situation that like causes long lasting damage, that's obviously a person that has never heard all the stories about how little instruction does happen. Yeah, like yeah. So but that's just a difference in gender. That is nothing to say for it. It can be extraordinarily traumatic, especially if, like we already discussed, the person has something wrong. I mean, she's the valedictorian of her high school. She's not a stupid person, but
No.
maybe she does have a certain sensibility where this specific incident had a very traumatic effect. So I get it from that angle as well.
But I kind of feel it would be more traumatic if it had happened in public.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
happening while you're at home in bed is a bit like,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Stop
just like,
complaining. Stop
jump
complaining, you little bit.
you
No.
know what I mean? Jump in the shower, freshen
Yeah.
up, whatever. It's cool. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it doesn't, it didn't really seem like it was a crazy thing.
No.
But
I mean,
if
and
it
I
in
was
public,
I was in orchestra class, and it happened to one of the violas. I'm very aware of. I mean, I don't, not to me, but yeah, witnessing it happen, and thankfully nobody was actively cruel that day. But who knows what happened after we left.
Yeah. But it's also one of those things like, is it that much of a big deal? No, what I mean is, right? Obviously, you don't want it happening to you. But what I mean is, right? If you saw someone, you're out and someone, they don't have like it's just hit them, right? They got their timings mixed up. It happened early, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that freaky? Are you gonna be like, oh my god? Like it's just like whatever.
Yeah, the ability to. This is what I call. Have you seen the movie Terminator?
Yes.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger. So there's a line that in there that's one of my life mottos that I constantly go back to, and kind of is ingrained in my body. And it's her friend in the restaurant. After the kid puts the ice cream in Sarah Connor's apron, like just a whole thing of ice cream or whatever, and the friend comes up to her and goes, "Think of it this way: in 100 years, who's going to care?" You know. I mean, as it turns out, everything that happens to Sarah Connor in 100 years matters a hell of a lot. So, that lovely irony there. But it is kind of baked into my person, and I wish it could be baked into everybody. Like it's not that big a deal. It's exactly what you're saying. But of course, in the moment, and if you don't have that kind of idea baked into you, it's everything hurts, and then hurt people, and then we wind up with serial killers. That's just the truth.
Yeah, there is that for sure. But it is an interesting one, and I think as you said, it is one of those things that I think separate men and women when writing certain things, because you might not know, okay, so how does a woman perceive this thing? Oh, to me it seems like it's going to be crazy, so I'm going to write it like this. When if a woman's writing it, she'd just be like, well, it's just kind of this.
I guess if I were to try to, I would probably not exactly understand how to write a boy getting like excited,
I mean,
in public. I don't know that I would know how to
you
write.
can say the word, Nicole.
I don't even know the science. What is the scientific word for? I made you do my favorite laugh. Yay! All right, interview over.
Oh my god.
That deep extended laugh that you do. Love, that's the one that got you kicked off an airplane in midair. That's the one. I wouldn't know how to write a hard-on scene, Kevin. For
Oh man.
a young child.
Well,
I wouldn't know how to broach it.
I mean, it's just one of them things, right? Where it's just like it's the inner monologue. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
All right, don't stand up. Don't stand up. Think of something chill. Think of something relaxing. Go down. Why? Don't fucking embarrass me. Go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. Oh, shit. Is she going to know? She's not going to know. No, she cannot see. Fuck. Why didn't I wear jeans today? Jesus. You know what I mean? Like,
but this is where the think of baseball comes in, isn't it? The think of baseball, isn't that the popular? Just think of baseball. Is that? Am I not right? Is that not correct?
No, not in the UK. We don't have baseball.
Okay.
Jesus
well then it must.
Nicole.
Well then the hard-on problem is definitely worse for you if you don't have baseball, because I've heard that's the key right there.
No, I think it'd probably be cricket.
Think of cricket. Think of cricket.
No, I think like you usually hear people like think of Margaret Thatcher, right?
Oh, not Maggie Thatch. Oh, oh my gosh. Ooh.
Oh dear.
Poor Mag. She doesn't deserve that, does she? I don't know. Maybe she does.
I mean, it depends who you ask, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this turned into an absolute chaos.
Yeah, you did send it off the rails. Right, I can see why directors get frustrated with you on sets now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't come here for this. I did. Now I'm gonna mess it, because I don't know if you've talked to Patrick yet. I'm gonna be like, Patrick, did you tell him that I was frustrating on set? Did he know that?
Oh dear. No, unfortunately, Patrick is not available for a conversation. So they offered up the third best thing.
Well, lucky for you, Patrick's not a very good conversationalist. So, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you what, man. You're quickly becoming one of my favorite people. Quickly. Woo! Where do you live in the UK? Because I got to come back.
In London. Do you know Greenwich?
Yes. Well, I know London, and I visited all of the things.
What are all of the things?
All of the things. I made it happen. Yeah, I you know what? I can't remember what the name of the place where I was, but I'm pretty sure I remember. I don't know. Never mind. I'm trying to be confident that I remember where I was at a certain point in time, but I don't remember where I was yesterday, Kevin. So I'll find you. Don't worry.
Oh dear.
Stop giggling. It's infection.
Oh man. Oh dear.
This has been super happy and fun.
Well, that is very good, because that is always the aim of these things. You know what I mean? Give people a good environment to be able to talk about their art. And yeah, no, like you played a police person for the first time,
It
right?
wasn't for the first time, actually.
Oh,
Um, I think I've played like 4 detectives or police. And right before I filmed this, I did film kind of a goofy, worthless. Well, and like I said, we don't solve any crimes in this movie either. But like, I get beat up by an old lady. It's a comedy. It's a comedy, but like, I go in way too confident, and she kicks my ass, and it's hilarious, and yeah, so. I'm constantly I wear a leather jacket well, and that's all that it takes. I don't even audition for these roles. They just give them to me as soon as they see me in a leather jacket.
oh man, like when but the thing I think we've seen so many different police, partners on the screen, right? So that Lethal Weapon,
Yeah.
the Bruce Willis one. What's that one?
The Christmas movie? Die Hard?
It's not a Christmas movie.
I know. Good. Excellent. I'm glad yes, it's not a Christmas movie. I'm glad
No.
I triggered you. Thank you for that.
Oh, and there's people always try and be like, oh, what's your favorite Christmas movie? And then be like, oh, Die Hard. And
I'm
you'll
gonna be
be like,
clever. It's Die
yeah.
Hard.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, just because it's in December doesn't make it a Christmas frigging movie, you dumbass. Like, stop it. Stop with the nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that. The best Christmas movie is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. By the way, he doesn't have a partner in that movie. He's all alone, like famously so.
He is, but I'm thinking of the third one with Samuel.
Ooh, I've never seen it, but I believe you.
Yo, that's my favorite one.
Maybe I've seen it, but it would be years. I might as well have not seen it. I think.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time since I've seen that one. I think I might have seen that one first.
Really?
Well, I think like the first one and the second one had kind of been on, but I never bothered watching them all the way through.
Oh, so the first one you watched all the way through was okay.
Yeah, I think
I was gonna be like blasphemy. I feel like wow. But
well,
as far as cop teams go, the first day showing up and meeting Matt Lacey, who was supposed to be here today, and I am extraordinarily sad that I don't get to hear his lovely voice. Though you have been an excellent replacement. Um, but the first day I showed up on set and I met him, I had only seen his reel before meeting him, and he's like, his reel at the time was like totally psychopathic. He was playing all crazy, angry, weird, creepy people, and I was like, how's this gonna work? What is this vibe? Right? And then I meet him, and he's just the most lovely, joyful, gleeful person, and I was like, immediate little brother. Just such a wonderful vibe between us. I loved him from the second, and he's like that every single time. I mean, I hope you do get to meet him, because you'll love the ever loving shit out of him like I do. It's great.
Yeah, but you wonder, like, how is the dynamic formed? Right? Like, because I know sometimes people meet up beforehand, have conversations. Sometimes there's not time for that. So it's just, let's just see how it all goes, But yeah, because we've seen so many different dynamics of police partners, it's kind of like, what do you decide to bring to the table with this one kind of thing?
Well, ideally, you don't use the first take. So you discovering the other actor on screen and how what they're giving you and what you're giving them, and you're actively listening. And I mean, that's the ideal situation, that you're getting to experience it for the first time, and all you have are your, like I said, your goals and your tactics and stuff, and play that. And if somebody gives you something that you didn't expect, then hopefully you're alive enough in the moment that you can respond in real life. That's with no rehearsal.
Mm.
But I think that Matt and I had a little 20 minutes together just getting in costume, uh, where we were talking, and I was like, is this the kind of energy that you're coming, are you coming on with the little brother kind of eager thing, you know? That's great, because I was planning on having just the driest of personalities, where you maybe are my one soft spot where I can have a sense of humor. Maybe my only friend
Mm.
is what I ultimately decided. And then he just kind of fit right in that, or I fit right in his plans, or I'm not sure who won, but we both won, because I think that we wound up with something really cool with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a good dynamic. It was a believable. I mean, the most important thing is you believed the dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was the thing across the board with the film. You believed in the different dynamics that we saw,
Mm-hmm.
and that
And I
helped.
was trying to be, because I knew he had to be extraordinarily likable in order for his, spoiler alert, death to have any kind of effect. So I was like, well, I'm just going to be kind of an opposite energy of that. And yeah, the little brother, older sister, I find you annoying, but I love you anyway thing. And it was also just really well written too. Like the
Mm.
words we were saying were just really fun, with the burning pumpkins, and the uh, him kind of going along with everything that I said, and me being generally irritated at him when he couldn't anticipate my every thought. Uh, a yummy energy, and he sold it 100% and was there 100%, and loved working with him.
Mm.
It's great.
Yeah, it was like, what was it? Oh, do you want me to meet you? Should we go to that scene? Be like, no, I think we'll sit that one off. Yes,
Right.
of course, get to that scene.
That was I'm glad Patrick, this is another thing that I kind of forced on Patrick at the last minute. I did it, and luckily he kind of giggled, which Patrick does not giggle. Patrick doesn't laugh at all. So luckily he kind of giggled, because that was something I threw in. I was just like, I'm just going to say this, and then say the real line or whatever. So luckily he liked it, and I think it works.
Okay, well, that's good. What out of, like, you've done short films, you've done films, you've done some TV. Is there one kind of form that you are kind of gravitating towards more than the others? Like, what are you
have,
enjoying the most?
have I done TV?
I thought you'd done TV.
That maybe somebody lied on my IMDb or something. I don't know that I've done TV.
Maybe I just misread something.
Um, in the environment I'm in right now, the most available type of you and a camera work that I see are short films. A number of commercials come into town, and I don't go after any of them, because I don't want to. So to opposite answer your question, that's the form I'm least attracted to. And the form I get to do most often are short films. I would love the opportunity to do more features, because of the character arc being spread
Yeah.
over a long amount of time, and the ability that skill and ability is a different kind of thing than just regular script work. And I would love to get better at that and learn how to do that.
Well, I think, you know, it's when you get the opportunity to do it, like
Mhm.
here, right now, people can see that you can carry those roles, right? So I think, you know what I mean? They'll see you in this and be like, oh shit, we have to give her the, you know, the lead in this other joint we've got, or, you know, we'll give her this role. And, you know, I think more feature stuff is just, you know, around the corner, I would say.
All right, Kevin. Okay, cool, nice. It was a perfect execution. I totally agree with you. So thanks.
Well, I think you did show a lot of different sides, and especially the end, because man, the end got mad intense, but
Nice.
it's
Cool.
good because it's just like after everything that happened, you're not gonna be chill, right? You're gonna be a little aggy, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was kind of like you're trying to bait her so then you can actually just put an end to the bitch, right? That's what you're thinking. And
Yeah.
that's what you should be thinking. And so you brought that to bear, and that's good, right? We get to see, you know what I mean, that you've got that scope in you.
And it's not in the bitch. Ooh, ooh, yes. I love your language. The snap that we talk about with Jin earlier in the film, right before she strangles her husband, I tried to mirror that with my character because nobody's potentially. I mean, I hope people come across it, but there is a mirror aspect that I went for with Jennifer in terms of maybe a lack of empathy, a lack of valuable relationships, providing any kind of emotional sustainment for myself, you know, a lack of
Mm,
friends. Um, uh, and ultimately the same kind of snap that comes from she killed my best friend, my only friend.
yeah.
um and yeah, so I think what you see at the end, or I hope what people see is that this is going to get so much worse, because there's no way she's just walking away from this scenario thinking, yeah, I got her, mission accomplished. It's
Mm,
not good enough, you know. uh just like her killing her husband was not good enough. um
yeah.
yeah, it's the same. And when I say loneliness epidemic, that's kind of something that exists. I don't know if it's an international thing, but certainly in America, the male loneliness epidemic and men not really being able to express their emotions or have meaningful relationships and friendships with people in order to discuss their feelings. Um, I see that heavily in this film for a lot of the characters, but for definitely for Jen and for me as well, because yeah, there's just no outlet
Yeah.
for all of that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those things, right? Where you're I mean, it went from that point where it's just like you don't talk about emotions. You know what I mean? It's just like
Mhm.
no one talks about being sad. No one talks about, right, the things that they want and aspirations and stuff like that.
And then
And
even when they do, social punishment, ostracization, and
yeah, but it's kind of like you then have people go, "Oh no, we're talking about it," but then the like the characters that are always talking about it aren't necessarily the people you want to be. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
seeing a lot of kind of, you know,
Mhm.
precious types
Yeah.
talking about
Ugh.
their being sad and blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like rather than just, you know what I mean, just people just having an actual proper conversation and just being like, oh man, the day's been a bit shit. Right? Like
Yeah.
things could be better. Like
Mhm.
this could be, it's always a bit too dramatic in the way it's
Yeah.
portrayed, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's just like, I don't think people still think a bit like, do I really want to do this? You know what I mean? Do I,
Mhm.
and also like, do you want to burden people with your shit? So people, so I think there is that hesitancy to do it.
Yeah. Though in Jennifer's case and in Lauren Marshall's case, I don't think it's an active decision to relieve people of the burden.
No,
I think there's not even an avenue.
no,
You know.
because yeah, they both are kind of solitary
Yeah.
in a way. And I think you can see on Jennifer's side of things that there was never really the outlet for her to share those opinions, you know. And even when her sister's talking to you guys, right, she's
Mhm.
just like, although she's just like, oh, Jen would never do that, like Jen is, and it's kind of like, you know, the way people talk about people
Yeah.
after the fact, like, oh yeah, we were best friends, and be like, no, we weren't friends. But she's kind of talking like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we're cool, and I know her, and blah blah blah, rather than I don't give a fuck about her.
People said the same shit about Jeffrey Dahmer, like his neighbors and stuff.
Mm,
I guess, and then maybe I'm getting this wrong, but I thought that there was an old lady neighbor that was talking about how nice and polite Jeffrey was, and that he made her a sandwich at one point. And I was like, "Oh, lady, you ate human. Love you. Good luck with that." Yeah, no, it's yeah, because the specific brand of I don't know if I'm using the right phraseology here, but like mental illness that makes you really good at performing a social interaction, even though in your head you don't know, you're not genuinely feeling a connection with the
yeah,
person you're talking to, you know. And there's a little bit of that disconnect for my character as well. I think at least that's how I viewed it and whatnot. I know
mm,
you know how to perform
yeah,
funny. You know how to perform celebration with somebody, but like the actual emotional connection and investment you have in another person is completely lacking.
yeah.
Um,
Yes, you know what things look like,
mhm.
but you don't necessarily care about those things, right? You don't want to be in those environments. You don't want to partake in those emotions, but
Which
you
I think
know they are.
yeah, more clearly defines Jennifer's character maybe more than mine, because I do think that I do care about um, Detective Barnes,
Yeah.
um, which almost makes my anger and my homicidal rage that's mostly boiling on the inside more righteous
Mm.
and deserved. That which is more dangerous to my mind.
Well, yeah, but he was your buddy. He was the one thing that was good about coming into work, kind of thing. He was
Yeah.
that. And then, you know, he got taken. And I think if it had been in a different way, right, maybe it's easier to deal with. But because it was so fruitless and unnecessary,
Yeah.
that's where it's just like, what the fuck?
It's just
did you-"
nasty.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Don't worry, I'll get her.
When you make something like this, like how easy is it to turn off at the end of the day? Because it is intense. And I mean, it feels intense, right? So it's just like, is it easy to be and cut, be like, oh, cool. What are we eating tonight? Or is it just like, fuck, I need to kind of relax somehow? Yeah.
Well, so for this film specifically, I didn't have to go through everything that Jen Seward did playing the role that she was playing. But I did previously play a serial killer, doing some nasty things, cutting up some parts, cooking them, feeding them to people. So just from that awareness and filming a couple of feature films, super easy, from my perspective, to turn it, because you're not putting on the outfit of the character, or at least I'm not. You're not that person who doesn't exist anyway. You're playing specific things in a specific moment. And it's hard even while it's going to keep it on, but as soon as something interrupts that, like a cut or it's over or whatnot, like for me it's genuinely very easy to just be like, all right, and it's over, you know. Now I've snapped back. I mean, if it really is that emotional and say like tears are coming or something like that, like now I'm worried about my makeup and the snot dripping out of my mouth or my nose, and like there's other things to worry about. You gotta
Yeah.
hit. I sound like shoot, the one guy who plays the crazy musician person in Love Actually, I cannot think of his name. But he had an interview once where he talked about like, are you kidding? I don't actually feel while I'm acting. I have to hit my spot and I have to look at this person. I have to deliver these lines and I have to remember to grab this thing and I have a million things to do. I wish I could remember his name, but he's like,
Is
I
it
don't have.
the guy that goes to America?
No, it's the older guy. Oh man.
Oh,
Now you're sitting right here. Sorry, my fiance is sitting right here, and I know he knows his name.
is it?
The
It's
name
not
of the
Bill
actor who plays the
Nye.
musician in Love Actually, huh?
It
Bill
wasn't
Nye.
Bill
Bill
Nye.
Nye.
Oh, it was Bill Nye.
Bill
Oh,
Nye. Yep.
oh.
Yeah, he gave an interview once where he was like, I don't have the space or the time or the energy to actually like be enveloped by this character. I have too many things to focus on as an actor, which
Mm.
is not entirely my opinion. I do feel like there's emotional investment and that's there and present in your body, but it's so hard to cling to anyway that like once something interrupts it, yeah, it's over, for me anyway.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Yeah. No, it's like it's just one of those things you wonder about, you know?
Mhm.
Awesome.
I did have another meeting that I was running to, so I was curious what you thought about timeline.
Yes. No, I was just going to yeah, draw it to a close, actually.
How
So
convenient.
yes.
As much as it hurts me to say that, I'm having such a good time talking to you. You're a brilliant, funny, charismatic interviewer. Thank you so much for
No,
talking to me.
it has been a lot of fun having to the opportunity to talk about the film with you, because I did thoroughly enjoy Super Happy Fun Cloud. And yeah, no, it was just like you definitely brought a lot to the table with this. So hey, no, it was great work. And how can people keep track of everything that you're doing right now?
Um, Gosh, I would say IMDb and Instagram. You know, I'll occasionally. I need to be better about posting the things that I'm actively filming, though. I suffer from that "who cares" thing. I'm sure that there are a whole entire two people that care, and I really need to keep them informed and do better about that. But yeah, I'll occasionally post something. And my tagged stuff on Instagram has the stuff that I'm working on because other people are better at it than I am. But yeah, I got a couple things. I got a couple things cooking in the works. Yeah. So
Okay. Okay. Well, people, the links will be on the website, so make sure you go and follow Nicole and yeah, be able to see what she is doing next. And once you finish doing that stuff, Nicole, hope you will stop by the podcast for another conversation.
yes, sir. And this time, I mean, we'll make it in person. I desperately, desperately want to come back to London. And I always get what I want. So that's Jin O's head on a platter and me going back to London, friend.
All right. Well, when you do, just let me know. All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries. People, super happy, fun clown. You will be able to catch Nicole playing Detective Marshall. So make sure you go check that out. And it is a fun, creepy, weird ride. So enjoy. Nicole, thank you so much for your time. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. You as well.
All right. Take care.
Bye.